After a long absence, we have the Geeks Respite. Hi, I'm Hoyt, we've got Ben, and we've got JP. Today, we're going to be talking about alternate universes. So,
cue the theme song.
We don't have one of those yet.
Oh.
Da, 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 da.
I can lay down a beat.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing that, but apparently you have to pay for Fruity Loops now.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I'll just have to keep using YouTube safe music. We'll figure out something for that. Anyway.
We could contact Perturbator and see if he's got something for us.
True. Absolutely. So, yeah, we've been gone a while. Life happens, and yeah. But we are back now, and hopefully this will be a lot more consistent podcast. So thank you for everyone that's listening again. Because both of you. You're probably all brand new listeners anyway. Anyway.
Hi, everybody's mom.
Our parents won't listen to this. It doesn't interest them at all.
They don't know how to work technology. But...
Exactly.
Well, I could send this to my mom and she'd listen.
Oh.
True. Your mom would listen.
Hi, Ben's mom.
Hi, Ben's mom. Anyway, so for the last couple of months, life has been life, but recently I was able to head out to SoonerCon. Got to listen to some pretty interesting discussions, got to see some really cool artwork, and got to karaoke the night away at a not well-stocked karaoke experience.
Was George Takei there?
No, he was not.
Oh, I thought he goes to everything. I don't know.
Well, he does go to everything, but SoonerCon doesn't count for everything.
What about William Shatner?
There was no Shatner.
What about...
That's surprising, because you'd expect to see Shatner where Takei isn't.
Yeah, right. But you don't know.
What about Nichelle Nichols? Was she goes to everything.
I know. No.
No? Oh.
No. This SoonerCon is mainly a gaming convention.
Oh, okay.
So it has like this giant gaming room and then panels for other stuff. So there was like editors and like a lot of podcasting people. Actually, it was kind of weird because Red 6 was out there. By the way, hi Red 6. You're not going to be listening to this, but hello.
What up, Red 6? I don't know who Red 6 is.
They're actually...
Oh, good. I didn't have to say it.
They're also another local podcasting group.
Oh, what up?
Local podcasting group.
But otherwise, it was a pretty good show. I do appreciate the comp tickets. So next year, I do recommend people to go and hang out with your local geeks here in Oklahoma.
I thought you said we didn't have sponsors yet.
We don't have sponsors. That's not a sponsor.
You spent 2 minutes talking about SoonerCon.
Okay, but they did give them tickets. It's kind of...
They gave me the tickets.
You should probably say something.
I am going to be kind. They did a very good job. It was a little crowded, but they managed it well. They also had a giant life-sized Jabba the Hutt you could pose in front of.
Ooh. Did you bring your slave girl bikini with you?
I did not, but there are tons of photos, I think on their Facebook page, of this amazing Harley Quinn that was doing all kinds of Jabba shoots.
Yeah, that's funny. That would be funny to see.
It was pretty interesting. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. JP, what have you been up to?
Right now I'm just watching films in preparation for the Norman Film Fest. Just kind of actually just sort of burning the midnight oil, going through 600 submissions.
Hooray! And I'm sure they are all Academy Award winning worthy.
It is so hard to choose. It's just so hard between all of them. But yeah, I've been working.
600?
600 submissions.
How many of them are feature length?
I don't have that number, but I'd say about 5% are probably.
Oh,
so they're mostly shorts.
Yeah, mostly shorts. Yeah, which is good.
That can be worse.
Not really. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not.
No, because if it were 600 feature films, we'd never see them again.
That's true.
And I would kill myself.
The festival would never happen.
No. But I would be impressed that there's that much talent out there. How many people making features? And wow.
I mean, there is a lot of talent out there. That's why we have these film festivals.
Yeah.
Right.
Which we're not supported by.
Again, no ad there. No
Just,
ad.
I'm just talking about what I've been up to.
Actually, it might be an ad. We need to talk to your people about that.
Maybe. Yeah,
Because
we'll see.
you're totally advertising on your podcast.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, have your
I mean, I'll
people
cut 'em a
talk
rate.
to our people, and
Yeah.
our
I'll-
people
I mean,
is Hoyt, so...
I'll cut up a good rate. So
Okay, yeah, I'll talk to your PR person then.
excellent.
You're our PR person.
So that means you get to talk to them,
Hoyt's the rest of the people, and
Right.
I'm just kind of here.
right?
Gotcha.
So speaking of Ben, what have you been up to?
Nothing.
All right.
It's free. It gets all of his insight. It's good.
Yes, Ben just exists on the internet and just soaks it all in.
It's a
I
sponge.
am filled with hate.
It's-
So we are recording this the week that Ant-Man and Wasp comes out. I'm kind of excited to see that one because I really want to know why Ant-Man and Wasp weren't in Infinity War.
Paul Rudd has said it's because it actually takes place during Infinity War.
I kind of figured, but I want to see
Well,
where
I mean,
that.
You can always write it that way. Why wouldn't they put the characters in, though?
Because, I don't know. There's already 65. I don't
Yeah.
Something like that, but Kevin Smith, I think his theory is that the Wasp or Ant-Man is going to be the key to fixing everything.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
So
Could be, or maybe they just didn't thematically fit with the rest of the heroes. 'cause
that's true.
Ant-Man just seems like a movie out on its own in the MCU.
Right, but he did work really well in Winter Soldier
Civil War.
or Civil War.
Yeah.
Winter War, yeah.
When Civil War, not
Civil
Winter Soldier.
Game of Thrones?
Wait, huh?
What?
No. No, we still have a year for that.
Oh God.
For
But-
what?
Yeah, the final season of Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay. Are they going to finish it before Martin does?
Yes.
They are. He's
Which
not even
is-
close. He's not even close to
No,
finishing.
which is really annoying because he knows how it ends. He's told them how it ends.
Yeah.
He just hasn't written it down.
And he may actually change it for the books, so.
If I were him, I would.
Totally would.
Yeah.
Would be like, and Daenerys is actually Jon Snow this whole entire time.
Everything you saw in the TV show, absolutely opposite of what's going on in the book.
The final scene.
Even when it doesn't make sense.
The final scene of the series ends very nicely, but then we pick up the book. The last 2 pages is Jon Snow waking up right before everything happens at the beginning of the show.
Or just, maybe.
And Cersei's a dragon.
I see that look of terror in your eyes that might actually happen.
It's.
You do have wonderful terror eyes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I don't think we give you enough compliments for that.
That's not really good podcasting because I can't see it, so I
Right.
That's
we'll
okay,
Just
we-
describe them. They
Yeah.
look like eyes that are terrified.
Yes, very terrified. Anyway, also this week, the other big news is Batman and Catwoman getting married tomorrow.
What, like in the comics?
Yeah,
Or-
in the comics,
Okay.
they're getting legit married. My money's on it not happening. There are apparently spoilers already floating around, and I have tried very hard to avoid them. But as long as they don't do what they did with Colossus and Kitty Pryde last week or 2 weeks ago, I won't be too upset.
So explain to me how this is supposed to go down. Is Batman and Catwoman going to be in costume?
Yes, Batman and Catwoman are getting married,
No.
not Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle.
Okay, so then okay, so who's on the groom's side and who's on the bride's side?
Justice League and an assortment
So-
of criminals that
so-
sometimes do good
So this
things.
is oh
I'm
okay
guessing.
okay. So what you're telling me this is a superhero themed wedding.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes. Yes.
It's
Maybe I
probably
should
a
read.
normal themed wedding
I
for
should read.
superheroes.
Right.
They
That's-
probably just put on fucking tuxedos
This
with their
sounds
masks.
ridiculous.
I've looked through some of this stuff, and one of the main kind of conflicts for this is that Joker's upset he didn't get an invitation.
What is happening? What is happening? What? Hold on. What? Okay.
Joker's upset because no one sent him an invitation.
Yeah,
So
but-
he's going out of his way. He will do something horrible
What?
at the wedding tomorrow.
Okay, but
And
this isn't. Why is Batman getting married as Batman?
Yeah, that's
okay,
where
so
I'm stuck.
I understand. I was stuck too, but it kind of makes sense a little bit because Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle don't interact in their civilianness.
Okay.
So to just turn around and be like, and we're getting married, everyone's going to go, why? And then they're going to start looking. And when they start looking, they're going to start seeing things. And then people start putting things together. And they're going to be like, that's Batman! And that's Catwoman! And why did we not know this beforehand?
Oh.
To also answer another question, Clark is the best man.
Okay.
Are you sure it's Clark and not Superman?
It is, it's Superman. It's Clark.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Well, I didn't know whether he was going with his secret identity or as Superman.
right. No, it's as Superman.
Because Clark Kent is Superman's
right.
secret identity.
All the surviving Robins are the groomsmen, basically.
Oh, Lord.
So that's, what, 4 now?
Surviving. Yes, about 4.
Yeah, because Jason Todd apparently didn't die.
Well, he's back now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have,
Even
Dick
though
Grayson.
they killed him
Yes,
with a crowbar.
they did. But he found himself away into a Lazarus pit and woke up.
So who's officiating?
That I don't know.
Probably Martian Manhunter.
Probably. He
He's
was a
great
priest
guy,
on Mars.
but nobody gives a shit about him.
Which is sad. He just came back, though. They finally brought him back into the post-New 52 universe. So I'm kind of happy about that. I've always liked John. Any dude that's good with Oreos, I'm good with, too.
Was the whole New 52 surrounded by fire or something?
Pretty much. He showed up at the beginning with Stormwatch, and then they kind of killed him. /
Wait,
he just...
Stormwatch is in DC now?
Okay. All right.
Catch up, then. Come on.
Wow.
Come on.
Okay, so we might not get to the topic tonight, so I got to go back a few years. Back in the day, there was this thing called Image Comics, and it was propagated by individual studios. Extreme, Todd McFarlane Productions, Wildstorm, Mark Silverstreet, Top Cow,
Yeah.
and there's one more that I'm forgetting, and it's going to bother me.
It's going to bother him. But basically, it was artists going, we do most of the work. We should make our own stuff.
Right, which,
I mean, they had a point.
yeah, but they didn't take
they
any
made
writers with them.
Right.
It took them a while to get the writers to back up the good artwork. Anyway, Wildstorm was opened up by Jim Lee. And somewhere in the
Jim Lee
mid...
is famous for X-Men, right?
Yeah, he did the covers for X-Men #1 back in '92. And a bunch of the interior
X-Men
work.
#1, not the one from like 68 or whatever.
You have to clarify nowadays. He also did a lot of the interiors. He was the one that created the Psylocke, the look of Psylocke that we know now. You know, the sexy ninja version of Psylocke, not the wearing a big giant pink flowing dress with a butterfly on her face. He kind of did that. He did a lot of things. Really nice. But he creates Wildstorm, which creates Wildcats and Stormwatch, and a bunch of other small side teams that come out of that, like Gen 13, Team 7, Deathstroke, not Deathstroke, Death Blow. Death Blow. Same meaning, different wording, Death Blow. And a bunch of really other cool characters. Somewhere in the mid-2000s, DC backed up a truckload of money to his house, and he went, "Oh wow, all these characters are now owned by DC."
Why does this truck say Ernie Hudson on the side?
Because they had to borrow the Ernie Hudson truck because they just needed one for Jim Lee. And
that's how we got Dragon Ball Evolution, by the way.
yeah, that's not what we're talking about tonight. We'll do that later. Anyway. So Jim Lee moves Wildstorm to DC, where it becomes like an imprint, where it's like Vertigo. It doesn't touch the DCU, except it's an alternate universe. Yeah.
Me not keeping up on comics for 20 years has helped this podcast. I knew there was a reason I stopped reading.
You did have a little bit of bleed through things like Mr. Majestic from Wildcats, like showing up in Superman every once in a while.
Which is weird because he's Superman.
It's always weird. But it was great.
Like every comic book imprint has a Superman, and that was what's it?
Yeah, Wildstorm's.
Wildstorm's Superman.
So, but just like mostly, it was an alternate universe to the DCU. So, you could travel there by, augmenting your vibrational output, blah, 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 all that Flash mumbo jumbo stuff.
What about boom tubes? Could you just use those?
You can, but it works on the same thing. It's vibrational. So
right, because everything's about the Flash.
Exactly. Well, yeah. Well, after Flashpoint, yes, it became all about the Flash. So Flashpoint happens. You have this other weird alternate universe DCU where a couple of key events don't happen. Most of it because Barry Allen isn't there as the Flash.
Okay, so they're key events in the DC universe, not like key events in the world.
Right. No. Key events in the DCU.
Like 9/11 didn't happen, kind of.
No, it's more like Superman got found by the government and, as you would expect, was put in a box and dissected. And
how do you put Superman in a box?
well, when he's a baby and hasn't absorbed all the solar energy yet, he's not super strong.
Yeah, there's that point. That's how you get Superboy, isn't it?
Well, yeah, he was Superman because he was in there for 30 years. And it's also the same alternate reality where Bruce Wayne gets shot as a child and dies, and his dad becomes Batman, and his mom becomes the Joker.
No, that's weird.
It's really weird.
That has to be a great read, though.
It is. It's a great story. It actually will make you tear up a little bit. It's kind of sad. I wasn't expecting that when I read through it originally. It like there's good action scenes in it, but it does really play on those heartstrings. And it's like she was so crushed, she went insane, and he was so crushed, he became just super focused and determined on fixing everything.
Dude, I'm not 16 anymore. I don't read comics for action scenes.
I know,
especially since we have YouTube, and we can just watch action scenes.
This is true. So Flashpoint ends. Barry Allen fixes the time stream, so he thinks. And, no, we have the new 52.
This is where you put your joke about the TV show.
Oh, yeah. Damn it, Barry. But the sad thing is that it became the running joke in the show because, well, they started doing that in the comics, too. But
yeah, but he did it all in the show to, win back the girl.
Right. Or to save his mom or, those kind of things.
Yeah, it was stupid.
So he comes back.
But, he's like 20, so
yeah.
You didn't do stupid things when you were 20. What were you doing with your life?
Exactly. I don't blame Barry one bit for using the power to warp reality and all of space-time to get a girlfriend.
That's what I would have done.
Anyway, Barry Allen comes back after fixing this Flashpoint thing, and things are the same, but they're a little different. Things like... Yeah. The New 52 wasn't very popular, but it did do things like bring all of Wildstorm into the DCU. So you have, like, Grifter and Stormwatch showing up, but Stormwatch was not the same Stormwatch as in Wildstorm.
Why'd they bring Grifter? People still like that character?
He's kind of like the flagship of Wildstorm, so he kind of came over.
Only because he looks good on covers. He's a terrible character.
He is. Don't worry, I think he's dead.
He could have been dead for the last 20 years. They'd still flag his corpse.
True. So everything changed. The New 52, people were kind of upset by it. It was...
Well, nerds don't like change.
Nerds do not like change.
Yeah,
no, we
what are
don't.
you talking about? They love change.
Yeah,
they live for change.
Ask Kelly Marie Tran.
Yeah.
How much
that wasn't even change. That was just a new character.
Right.
Yeah, that's change.
There's new things here. No, I don't like it. It makes me scared.
This isn't the original series all over again.
Even though they're all 60, 70, 80 years old, they can totally be action heroes.
Half of them are dead.
Now, yeah. So New 52 starts. People are understandably upset. It's not the fact that it was changed. It was how they did it, and they just sort of like hand waved away all the history and decided to rewrite all of DC's history. They brought they merged kind of all their little imprint and little side things into one universe. Wildstorm came in, Vertigo became part of the DCU. That's why you get John Constantine and Swamp Thing showing back up in like Superman, Batman books.
Right, but if they hadn't just started over with the history, we'd have to have conversations like this every time we talked about any comic.
This is true, and that's why I said I'm okay with the occasional reboot. Now, don't get me started on that because DC has made that art form.
Yeah, apparently DC reboots every month now.
Almost. They had Rebirth, which kind of fixed some things, and also revealed that the Watchmen are now part of the DCU.
Right. I remember hearing about that and going, why?
And apparently Flashpoint wasn't caused by Barry Allen, because everything was going to be fine when he fixed Flashpoint. It was Dr. Manhattan that changed little things in the time stream when it was rebuilding itself. Basically, and it was all the mess with Superman. That's part of the Doomsday Clock miniseries. I haven't really read up a bunch of yet, but it's like introducing the Watchmen into the DCU, and they're kind of like working sideways to Superman. Anyway,
only Dr. Manhattan would change so many things in the universe just to put Clark Kent in a box as a baby.
Well,
literally like stepping on a butterfly so your grandfather doesn't get laid.
I mean, one of the big things is he brought back Jor-El. Yeah. Anyway, so changing things and trying to see how they affect the world is kind of integral to sci-fi, fantasy, fiction in general. Because you can argue that, most sci-fi or anything like that, or any fiction in general, is just an alternate universe. You change little things and you move forward.
You could argue that, but you'd be wrong.
I think it's kind of like a very specific subset of science fiction, like speculative fiction.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I can understand that.
Like, I think Watchmen is definitely like speculative. It definitely takes place in an alternate universe.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Like if we just picked up random fictional books around, we're not going to find, the world's slightly changed. We're going to find, here's some characters written into the world.
I don't think Nancy Drew takes place in an alternate universe.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It has to. There is no way a child is that adept at detective work. There is something wrong with that universe.
There's a 14-year-old, well, he's probably like 20 now, but there was a 14-year-old kid who built a nuclear fusion reactor in his garage once.
This is true.
Nancy Drew can exist.
No. Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew.
Wait, are you so misogynistic that you had to imagine an alternate universe where a woman is that smart?
No, I had to imagine an alternate universe. No, because
women can't be that smart unless it's a fundamental change to the universe.
Because I call BS on the Hardy Boys too. So
yeah, how do you know they're not women?
Oh, so you have something against gay people now too?
Just
why are you
boys?
You have something against gay people now too?
Wait, what?
What?
But,
No.
What?
Wait, huh? JP,
What?
Are you condoning twincest?
No.
No, that's for a supernatural themed episode.
Oh, okay.
You think of the Hardley boys from South Park.
Yes, you are.
Getting a math clue.
Yes, stop. Anyway, so alternate universes can be great ways to kind of explore ideas that you have with existing characters and just seeing how they react to things.
Right, they're a cornerstone of fan fiction.
Absolutely. And, some of the first ones that were, like, big are things like What If from Marvel. What if Phoenix didn't die during the Dark Phoenix saga?
Realistically, the first alternate universes that were popular were the Star Trek ones back during the original series.
Mirror World episode?
Well, What If is just as old. I mean,
yeah.
I'm talking about, like, comic. In TV, you have, like, you've got, like, Mirror Mirror.
Well, I mean, just the fanfic. The Star Trek had a huge fanfic thing that started the whole fanfic fandom.
Oh, that's...
Oh yeah,
you guys didn't know that?
Yeah,
60s fanfic, man. Wow.
Star Trek is like the grandfather of fanfic.
Yeah, that's where we get a lot of our fanfic tropes, like Mary Sue.
Yeah.
It was Star Trek fanfic
and
character.
Slash.
Oh,
was
Spock and Kirk.
Spock.
Spock.
Wow. Pock.
Yeah.
I said Pock.
Tupac?
No.
That's Spock.
No.
That's
just
no,
one
no,
Pike.
no. That's
Six
Christopher.
Pike.
That's Christopher Pike's Spock / Vic. That's
Yeah.
it's out there. You know it is.
It is now. The minute you gave words to it, it became a thing. Rule 34 it into existence.
That's what I do. That's why I'm on this podcast.
And again, even things
Starting
like,
with the Hardy Boys.
but even like Rule 34 is like alternate universing thing. So yeah, it's like fanfic is it kind of does that. But like official alternate universes are things like, What If, DC's Elseworlds, where you just change one thing. Now in the concept of like Marvel's What Ifs, it always ended with the universe ending because something didn't happen. Like, what if Peter Parker didn't get bit by the spider? Yeah, somehow all of existence becomes unraveled.
I've actually never read a What If. I mean, I'm very familiar with the concept. But I've never read an issue before. I've read plenty of Elseworlds though.
Those worlds are really good too.
Yeah,
But
those
is
those
that-
don't usually end in the end of the universe.
Is that like really like the point of a What If? Is that if things don't?
It's not. Okay, I think the What Ifs gave the writers the chance to just go insane
Yeah. No, that's
with
And
with
also, answer a lot of fan questions like, what if Wolverine had beat the Hulk?
right
What if,
ends in the
this-
ending of the world. What if Wolverine got turned into a vampire during Inferno? Apparently, it ends the world because he becomes the Lord Vampire, and yeah.
When did those run officially?
So What If has had like 3 or 4 different volumes. There was like one volume from like the late 60s, early 70s.
Really?
There was
Was
one
that
from
really?
like mid 80s to like the mid 90s.
And were the usual suspects kind of involved with like writing and like was Stanley? Did Stanley write a What If? Like
During the What If, during the 60s, yes.
interesting.
What you would find though, at least at the beginning of things, you had a lot of the guys that were writing the actual books come over and write the What Ifs.
Oh, cool.
Like John Byrne came over and wrote some.
Yeah.
Chris Claremont wrote a couple.
Interesting.
That were based on the X-Men. So it was like you were getting like what they wanted the alternate universe to look like too.
Right.
And again, it all pretty much ended with the end of the world somehow.
That's pretty funny.
And the weirdest one was like Aunt May. What if Aunt May had died, right? And you're all like, okay, so Pete gets sad and he gets a lot more, violent or whatever. Somehow,
Isn't that Spider-Man 3?
kind of, and a lot of other things.
In
But
the Raimi trilogy, not
yeah.
whatever is running now.
right. But you have like Aunt May dies, and somehow that causes the Phoenix to destroy the universe.
Interesting.
Well,
So
yeah.
like they went like all out.
Yeah, like and toward the
What a
end, it got
flashback.
really crazy, where it was like, what if the Fantastic Four never existed? But it was like a 3-chapter story, so it was like 3 different universes,
Yeah.
where it was like they didn't get their powers in one, they didn't go into space, but they still got powers somehow. And then like the third one was like everything happened like it did in our universe, except when they landed, their powers killed them.
Well, bear in mind that What Ifs are single comics.
Yeah. Single
usually.
Right.
issues, yeah.
Yeah.
One-shots.
Right, single or 1 or 2 issue.
So
Yeah.
they're telling this entire story in 26 pages, and the universe ends at the end of it.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool. See, that's why I like early Marvel stuff so much. They were just kind of like going nuts with it.
They had fun.
That leads me sort of a tangent question because I do remember. I remember you bought a bunch of What Ifs when we were kids,
Oh yeah, I still have them somewhere.
and you also bought What Does.
I was about to go there actually. So whereas What If is like quasi serious, like what if this thing happened in the universe? What the is the satirical universe for Marvel, where it was like that's where Spider Ham comes from.
That's amazing.
The Amazing Spider Ham, yes.
Yeah.
They
You tell me there really was a Spider Pig?
yes,
Yeah, his
Yes.
name was Spider-Ham.
yes.
Peter
Porker.
Oh my god.
We said that in unison. We didn't practice this at all.
Not at all. But they took shots at themselves.
Yeah.
They took shots at DC.
They took shots.
They had to. My favorite story is their send up of the Infinity Gauntlet,
Yeah.
where at the end, Doctor Strange is just like, forget this, screw this, and like walks through reality into the nothingness between companies. where he like runs into all these like not like directly like this character, but it's like, you know, it's like
kind of like Deadpool and Deathstroke.
yes, exactly. Like there were like DC heroes that no one had seen in decades that were there, but they weren't called that. They were just enough to where it's like, oh, this is parody, so they don't get like copyright. But he's just like, oh, so I'm just going to go somewhere else. And like someone turns around and looks at him like, no, you're here. You're stuck here now. It's just like...
amazing. Cool. I remember, this is just sort of a side note, but I remember the only cover I can remember of what was one where it's like fantastic. It was like a stage. And it was like Fantastic Four, and the Invisible Woman walks out wearing nothing but an eye patch, and you see like a floating eye patch.
Yes, a dotted outline.
It's that kind of humor.
Yeah, it is slapstick comedy on a comic page. It was great, and if you can find them, I'd recommend it because they haven't re-released any of it in like graphic novel form, and they should. They have for some of the later stuff and some of the stuff that happened like in the 2000s. There were a couple of what does as like one shots, and they're not that funny.
That'd be like a really fun collectible item.
I love the books. I have them. They are
cool.
It makes me happy to have them.
I have a question. Remember in the 90s when the Amalgam event happened?
Yeah.
Yes.
DC versus Marvel.
Yes.
And wasn't it like kind of in canon established that these two entities do exist in separate realities?
Yes, and no one has discounted that those two entities still exist.
Really? That's fun.
So, yes, Marvel versus DC, that miniseries and the Amalgam Universe are canon to both universes.
That's so
as far as
ridiculous.
anyone knows. Which, that's probably one of my favorite alternate universes in comics, where it's just like, oh, let's just take these guys and squish them all together and see what happens. Like,
It's some
super
of the most
patriot.
90s things you've ever seen, like Darkclaw.
Darkclaw. Yes, Wolverine and Batman squished together. How 90s can you get?
Sabretooth and Joker.
Yes.
Squished into, what was it? Jackal.
Jackal, which was brilliant.
I don't know. I think the most 90s is still Draken. Draken, whatever it is. Wolverine's kid.
Oh, yes. Well, no, because
he's
Draken's
90s, but
yeah, he's mid 2000s,
but he is so edgy.
and actually it's she because the female gene is the reason why she has the claws on her toes too, not
I'm not
just on
talking
her
about
hands.
X-23.
No, that Draken too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
The band?
No, not Doc and the band.
Draken.
Dream Warriors.
Yeah, yes. No, we're not talking about Nightmare on Elm Street tonight.
Oh.
Soon though. When we get to October, we'll talk about horror movies.
Yay.
Are there viable AUs going on in the film world though?
Oh man, here's the okay.
What do you mean? Like,
So,
do you-
Like
an
films that are arguably AUs,
like Watchmen?
like Watchmen, or even something more serious like The Man in the High Castle.
Well, you do have Man in the High Castle, which is the Amazon show.
Right, but
Right.
that's a TV show. That's
Yeah.
not.
I don't think. I'm not really sure.
You're more of a film guy, so
I guess
I'm like throwing
you-
stuff back to you so you can participate.
You could argue. I
Because
think.
I'm nice.
I think.
Look at me, I'm nice.
You're being a regular Samaritan right now.
Yes. I wouldn't even interrupt you. I'm so nice.
I think it could be argued. Hunger Games is considered speculative fiction, and most of the YA post-apocalyptic stuff is that kind of considered sort
I
of
can see
alternate
that.
reality.
yeah.
Well, it kind of really depends on where the history divergence happens.
I don't know. I mean,
Because I don't know anything about the YA movies, but
nothing
when
really.
we get to Fallout, I can talk for like an hour.
Nothing really comes to mind. I don't think it's really marketable at the moment, unless something else already exists as like a comic or a book that's about it. But not off the top of my head. Nothing like, what if World War II didn't happen or something, or if we lost World War II, what would a movie about that? I don't think.
Yeah.
I can pre-hear studio executives being like, no. Our audiences don't understand that.
They've already got Man in the High Castle.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wait, it's based on a book? Do it.
Yeah, based on the book, do that. I could kind of say that we do have 3 iterations of Spider-Man
that's the
at this point. in 3 really different universes.
We tried to get away from comics.
we tried, but
Well,
Look at
you,
how successful we were.
but you were asking about viable alternate universes
I
that,
suppose.
I mean, is it really an alternate universe? Like, I mean, is it
just strictly a reboot? And I guess it depends on the context of the film too.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, like I said, I think there's sort of a real distinction between a story that's actually set in a separate universe and just another take on a story. Like, I don't think Cronenberg's The Fly takes place in a different reality as Vincent Price's The Fly. Like, I don't know.
And
Wait.
I don't really see the
I
Fly.
think we now have a new shared universe.
I don't really see the Fly as an alternate universe because everything that goes on that causes everything happens in the movie. There's like no alternative universe. There's just this guy who makes a teleporter and screws it up.
Oh, but although it can be argued that is what some alternate universe stories are, right? Like it's just like a different kind of like
right. So on that take, would Blade Runner be an alternate universe?
Yeah. Blade Runner happens. See, Roy Batty was actually created in 2016. Roy Batarian, the primary.
Yeah.
What's that actor's name?
From Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Are you talking about
Tears in the Rain?
Yes. Hobo with a Shotgun.
Yeah. Except he has a real name too.
Lothos and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on this guy?
Because I blanked on it, and it's infectious.
And
Hoyt's even looking it up on his phone.
Shh! I wanted to sound smart.
The Hitcher.
It's Rutger Hauer, actually.
Rutger Hauer. That's it.
And to prove, I didn't even pull it up yet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The name just came to
Rutger
me.
Hauer.
Yeah. Let the court know that he showed his phone to a mic.
Yeah.
No, I showed my phone to you two.
I'm writing the record here, and you look dumber.
Got him.
Yeah. No, in the Blade Runner universe, Roy Batarian was created in 2016.
So we're 2 years out of Blade Runner.
Got one.
Uh-huh.
Got one.
Got one?
Were you ready for this?
Go for
Yes.
it.
Red Dawn.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Because it all isn't it the whole the whole premise is that like NATO doesn't exist or something, right? Or like
Well, no. NATO exists, but it was a world where America wasn't as laser focused on the Russians,
right?
So they were able to sneak in.
Yeah. There you go. There's your
Cubans. Yeah.
They came up through Mexico, right?
Yeah.
Cuba.
Or Cuba.
Yeah.
Were they?
Yeah,
were they Cubans?
Yeah, they were Cubans.
They're not Russian. Oh.
Well,
watch
there
the
were
movie.
Russians and there were Cubans.
Okay,
the
yeah.
Cubans spoke the Spanish.
But they came up through Mexico. That's why they hit Texas.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But I mean, they basically infiltrated through Cuba.
Hold on, real quick. Super fascist movie.
It's totally a fascist movie.
Very, very right wing movie.
Oh yeah,
totally a movie of its time, and totally just a completely.
Because you know who wrote and directed it, right?
Who?
John Milius, who helped write the screenplay for Apocalypse Now, who also wrote and directed Conan the Barbarian.
Oh man!
A bunch of other movies. He was like a super gun nut in Hollywood. He was part of the new
I can
Hollywood.
see why
group.
he wrote Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah, he was friends with he's close friends with Spielberg and Lucas and De Palma, Coppola, all those people.
Mm-hmm.
He's the only one that didn't get famous. But someone could probably make a case for that, like, oh, the conservative, of course.
There you go. There's the left wing conspiracy right there.
Everyone knows the story that Spielberg bet on Star Wars or something, and then I think it was John Milius bet on Close Encounters, and Lucas bet on a John Milius surfer movie that he hasn't seen any returns on yet. So yeah, that's a little detour. But yeah, Red Dawn. That's my submission.
The best movie that no one's actually watched the last 5 minutes of.
Yeah, it's actually really sad.
Right.
Yeah,
everyone pretty much dies.
Everyone dies, right?
You get near the end and we get that Wolverines and hoorah, we're winning.
Right.
And then the end is just the one girl talking about all her friends being dead as if she's describing her lunch.
Not just Cindy Girl, Leah Thompson.
Yeah.
From back to, it was great cast, by the way. Patrick Swayze, Charlie
Sheen?
Charlie Sheen. Isn't Emilio Estevez in it?
Yeah, I think so.
I think they were inseparable at that point.
Yeah. Jennifer Grey.
Right.
Which, by the way, if you've only seen Jennifer Grey in like rom-coms and stuff, you haven't seen Jennifer Grey until you see her wield an M60 mowing down Russians. She still has like the same style of hair and makeup like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. You're like, Ferris Bueller's sister is mowing down Russians.
And it makes sense.
Yeah.
there is no cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
Or a disconnect to that. Like, it just makes sense that she is mowing down Russians because that character from Ferris Bueller would do that.
Because if you watch that first and then Ferris Bueller, like, why isn't she killing the principal?
Right. I think watching them in the other order is the best thing because you see her escalate.
And then there's that. I mean, that movie is so screwed up. The part that screwed me up is the part where like they found out that one of the kids had been tortured and was someone planted a tracking device on him, and one of the kids is like, "I'll kill him," and he just shoots him. Like, yeah, this is kind of fashy.
Yeah. This is us.
This is so American.
So that's my submission for an alternate universe movie.
I'm good with that one too.
I think you could probably even argue RoboCop.
Definitely RoboCop, because that's supposed to be like late 90s when that was supposed to happen.
Is it? I don't know what the timeline's supposed to be. I know it's supposed to be Delta City.
Yeah, it's like before 2000.
Yeah, like a company buys Detroit and turns it into Delta City.
Which at this point,
yeah, it's kind of happening. They're just not changing the name.
Yeah, they haven't actually bought it out yet, but Detroit is falling into bankruptcy and.
Yeah.
Well, Detroit went bankrupt like a decade ago.
Right, they've been keeping their head above water. I'm just waiting for OCP to show up.
Yeah.
They've been selling out to corporate people for quite a while now. They're redesigning like the entire downtown and everything. I mean, I don't want to sound like a commie, but
here's a question: since you know more about Blade Runner than I do, apparently.
Yeah.
Does Blade Runner and Total Recall take place in the same universe?
No.
No? I thought I had read somewhere that it did.
Well, maybe, but you'd have to. Was Total Recall a Dick book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then you'd have to ask Philip K. Dick.
But okay, so here's the thing: Total Recall the movie and Total Recall the story, because it's not even a book; it's a story. Share nothing except for like the most thin of frameworks. That there is this technology that can rewrite your memories.
They don't go to Mars?
They do.
They do.
They do.
They get your ass to Mars.
Yeah, but it is not an action flick. It is not an action story. It's not running around and like, everyone's trying to kill him. It's one of those things that just messes with your head by the end of it, where you're like, wait, did this really happen? And the movie does that too. If you actually take a moment to stop and
we
pay
were
attention.
supposed to do that in the movie, but instead we were just like,
Arnold won.
Arnold won. Air on Mars.
You got the girl.
Immediate air on Mars, like instantaneous.
I forgive a lot of older sci-fi for bad science.
I do too.
I love that. I watched that movie just the other day for the first time in years, and it's like it really is wonderful.
It kind of holds up.
Yeah, just the ending alone is insane. Like you get to watch Arnold's head almost explode.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the effect of like the oxygen just rolling through Mars just looks cool.
Yeah, it's that old school cloud tank effect that they had back in the 80s. They used the Never-Ending Story.
Because practical effects are amazing.
Well, so are CGI effects. It all comes down to how you use them.
Right, and how you shade them. CGI effects have some issues that practical effects, like practical effects are good for like large scenes, like Star Destroyers and Death Stars.
We're gonna fight.
We're gonna fight.
I just want more cloud tank usage in movies.
I'm good with that too.
I'm just saying, just like with practical, the problem with CGI that we've been seeing that we hate in movies, like where we're like, CGI sucks and it's worse than practical, is the whole process of doing it in films is different from doing practical, right?
Gotcha.
Because when you're doing practical effects, you set up all that crap ahead of time. Like, you have to have the wires on the tree branches to torture somebody with. You gotta have the models built, etc., etc. You can do all of CGI on a computer, so a lot of directors have been just throw the crap into the scene.
Right.
Not like...
Plus they're underpaid.
Yeah.
Right. So...
Well, that's the other thing. They're horribly underpaid and they all go bankrupt. But, I mean, if you're shooting with the effects in mind, you get Life of Pi.
True. True. I mean, I will give you that one.
I haven't seen that movie, but all the trailers look really good.
It's an amazing trailer. It really is a beautiful trailer.
So, my biggest thing is overuse of CGI in, like, horror movies for the kills.
Oh, yeah.
Like practical effects on kills are so good. Like, give me something from, like, Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one. Like, things like Johnny Depp being drug into the bed, where they literally drug him through a bed. You know, the
rotating room.
The rotating room with Tina.
Again, the thing is, you don't have to do one effect or the other. It's the other problem they have.
Yeah.
The best effects are a combination of everything you can throw at it.
As long as it looks
CGI
good.
to polish it, some practical to sell it.
Right.
I mean,
hey! Another AU in film that isn't connected to like comics or books. Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's an AU. Yeah.
That's like a make your head go insane thinking about it type universe.
Right.
Like because it's so meta. It's meta. Like
right.
More so than like Scream.
Right. Because Scream was written sort of. It's not really parody, but it is satire.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be. Yeah.
Yeah. It's Wes Craven being funny.
Well, satire doesn't have to be funny.
Well,
I mean, let's look at Modest Proposal and laugh.
Yeah. Yeah, it was hilarious, man.
Yeah.
Babies are delicious.
What's Modest Proposal?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, that was a book written to solve a couple of problems in Ireland. It's a major piece of satire. The problems were
Overpopulation,
and the poor are starving. Oh. So let's just eat their babies.
Oh, wow. Okay, wow.
Yeah. People thought it was legit for a while.
Serious fucking satire.
I could see Wes Craven making that in a movie.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah. I think he did.
But
that could be Purge 4.
But yeah,
5,
I mean, New Nightmare is definitely an alternate universe for Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Because you have the original 6 movies, and then through like the brilliance of Wes Craven, he puts the 7th movie in the real world.
Yeah.
And then you get to the scene where you see that he's writing the script for the movie that you're watching.
So brilliant. I love it. I love it so much.
And then you're just like, he wrote all of this. And then you're like, but if he wrote all of this, he knew all this was coming. Why didn't he write a better... But he wrote all this.
Yeah.
And then,
also, really, if he was really just making a new Nightmare movie, it doesn't make sense within the context of the series because Nancy's dead. But...
Right.
But, just say... But it's no, great movie. I love like how Heather is playing herself, but she doesn't have a kid in real life, and like so you have to kind of write in that he has a kid. So like, is Dylan real?
Yes, Dylan is real because I do believe she had a kid not shortly after that movie.
But are you sure he wasn't created by Wes Craven?
Yeah.
Oh, he probably was.
Yeah, maybe Wes Craven just wrote him into existence harder.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about. This movie, it messes with your head.
It didn't take while filming the movie, but shortly afterwards, it finally took.
Right. Now, the one thing I did like, one of the really cool things in that film I liked was like when you first meet Robert Englund, he is like super rubbery faced Freddy.
Yeah.
Like he looks as fake as possible.
Yeah.
But then, like toward the end, and you see the makeup job that they did on that one, it is terrifying.
Another question I've always wondered about that movie is Robert Englund playing Freddy? Like, is Robert Englund embodying Freddy? Because there's that part at the end where she's trying to call Robert Englund, and there's that scene where he's like painting, and like he paints like this really just kind of evil, dark stuff. And then there's a part where
you?
Yeah, I know, but like, but it's like this. The scene is like
he's painting the scene that she's in,
and it just gets like really intense, and it's just like it's a painting of like Freddy and his souls and stuff. He just looks like, what did I just paint?
Yeah.
But like there's that part where she calls Robert Englund toward the last act, and he doesn't pick up, and the voice answering machine is so like ominous. He's like, "You've reached the Englands. We're not here. We'll be gone for some time."
But you're Robert Englund. That probably is his legit voicemail message.
Yeah, probably
because it's Robert Englund.
Of course, he could have just had someone else record it. He probably has Samuel Jackson doing his. Probably Tony Todd. That would be awesome.
That would be great.
Yes.
So talking about New Nightmare also brings up the fact that is the reboot alternate universe, or is it just straight up a reboot?
What reboot?
Oh, I'm sorry. They have, yeah.
What universe do you live in?
Well, I kind of meant Freddy versus Jason, which is also another AU.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a AU between the movies.
Yeah.
It exists within the context of the Nightmare series.
Yeah. It is canon to Nightmare.
It is so far off from
from Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
I don't even I have no idea how Friday the 13th's timeline works. I have no idea what's going on.
It's actually pretty...
Is it all in one night?
No. That's the second and third movies.
Okay.
Yeah, movies 2 and 3. Movies 2 and 3 are the same night or same weekend.
I've seen people actually try to dissect the timeline of Friday the 13th, and it's just like confusing as hell. Like it takes place 30 years in the future or something. Like I'm not even talking about Jason X, by the way. I'm just saying it's like,
another AU, Jason X.
But that happens far enough in the future that it doesn't feel like an AU.
True. It could just exist in the world.
There's a whole bunch of history between this point in actual time
and that movie.
Where we start in that movie.
Did I interrupt one of you guys? I forgot. I'm sorry.
We could talk about video game AUs, though. I mean,
okay.
I mean, it's a pretty big thing in video games,
right?
Like all the new Wolfenstein games are AUs.
Exactly. It's the Man in the High Tower, but with machine guns.
Right. And super Nazi technology that didn't actually exist at the time.
Right. So there's that. Command and Conquer is actually an AU. Well, Red Alert is an AU to the original Command and Conquer because Red Alert, they go back in time to kill Hitler, and then they realize that was bad, and then they stop them from killing Hitler to end the series. I got to, man. It's an AU.
Fallout's probably the biggest AU ever.
Absolutely.
Because that divergence happens in 1942.
Right.
The game was first released in 97, so...
Yeah.
Complete AU, where for some reason we didn't develop transistor technology for 60 years.
We just used tubes for everything.
No joke, they didn't invent the transistor until 2072.
Something like that?
I think it's cool.
Yeah. So everything that happened, I mean, that's the earliest point we can put where the timeline diverged.
You're talking about Fallout, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the game I'm kind of obsessed with.
As far as speculative stuff goes in video games, I think it's actually my favorite one. Because that's personally just like I like the aesthetic.
Yeah, well,
that's pretty cool.
I mean, even though every game happens, a couple hundred years in the future from now,
except the new one.
Well,
the new one
is a prequel to everything.
Right, the new one happens 20 years after the last war, which was in 2077.
Right, which makes it the earliest point in the timeline.
Earliest point in the timeline that we can play, which is still, do the math, 80 years?
Yeah.
From now?
I have a question about Fallout and the whole alternate universe thing, why they chose to do that. Is there a specific reason why they did it, or is it just because it's just a cool aesthetic, that post-apocalyptic 50s technology? Is that kind of the driving force behind it, or is it just is there another reason? They're just kind of
a lot of it came from the aesthetic.
Yeah, as far as I've seen, it was just we want to make this cool 50s feel. And you got to remember, the first two games were isometric RPGs, so it wasn't even like we had eyes on all this aesthetic. but they really liked the 50s post-war aesthetic, leading into the height of the Cold War.
That kind of like sweet spot in history before we were completely terrified of nuclear war, where it was still kind of quaint.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, and so they diverged the timeline to keep the technology looking 50s, but they didn't diverge culturally until 50s, 60s, early 60s, I think, is the defining point, because there was a song in Fallout 3 that wasn't released until 62.
Oh, interesting.
And in the new game, we have country roads, apparently. So...
Right, but we don't really talk about things Bethesda does until we like them.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. I do not know if I'm picking up 76 or not.
I am a Fallout modder, and I hate the company. Okay, I work on their stuff, and I'm just like, God damn it, Todd.
Right.
It just works my ass. Let's not take that one out of context.
Like the Hardy Boys.
The Hardy Boys just work my ass.
Are there other video games that have that kind of speculative bent to that like Fallout does? Like,
there's quite a few.
Does Mortal Kombat count? Is that
no? Well, okay, for its own universe, you have things like Shaolin Monks, which is like the side-scrolling beat 'em up, where Liu Kang dies at the end.
Okay.
No matter how you do.
Really?
Yeah, but in the games coming after it, he's still around. He's not dead, except in the most recent Mortal Kombat game, where he is dead and. Like Sonya's dead, and
well, let's just bear in mind that Mortal Kombat lore is actually surprisingly deep and twisty.
Very true. Okay. Any Madden game, is that an alternate universe?
No.
I mean,
if you turn around and take the Houston Oilers or the Texans to the Super Bowl and win,
or the Bengals,
or the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
No, that's not an alternate universe.
But the games now, you're actually running a character. Like you are doing things, you're advancing a character, and you have somehow turned the Cleveland Browns into a viable football team.
Well, okay, look, it's really only an AU in the sense that if you play the game for 2 or 3 years straight, then you have a definitive point where things changed.
Gotcha.
And you have, things that change, and that will always be the same. Mm-hmm. So inside your save file, that's an AU.
Yeah, okay.
Well, how about...
But the game, no, it's not an AU. It's a sports game.
Well, here's one.
And I love sports games.
And this is where you're probably going to get head hurty.
Oh, okay.
Definitely takes place in a different universe, but there are definitely... probably 100 different variations of the universe within this universe. Zelda.
Oh, I'm out. I don't know anything.
We're not. No, I don't need a migraine tonight. because it's not AU. It's divergent timelines.
Yeah.
I literally have only played one Zelda game. Played it for like 5 minutes. And
just accept them for what they are.
Yeah. You can't look into it. You can't.
Even Nintendo has a hard time figuring out what its actual timeline is.
But didn't they put out like an official book where they just kind of mapped out everything?
Okay, yes, but even that didn't take into account the games that have come out since then.
Oh, okay.
Now, there are a couple of AUs built into it. Like, Wind Waker is supposed to be an AU based off of Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. Where
Link goes back in the past and doesn't defeat Ganon. Or it dies fighting Ganon in Ocarina of Time. Mm-hmm. So Link dies there, which causes Ganon to control the world, which causes the events that create the Wind Waker world. But for the most part, most of Zelda is just timeline progression.
Okay.
Now, on your same note here, what about the Mario universe?
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Because,
there's no linear...
there's nothing linear there, and things are always
consistent.
Different. Yeah. I was trying to think, too, of...
well, didn't the creator basically just say, hey, these are basically just actors in a play anyway, so...
Just for the third game. Super Mario Bros. 3 is a play. But since then, it's like everyone just sort of hangs out and does Mario Party and go-karting, and occasionally...
They play tennis.
Yeah.
They become doctors.
Yeah.
They become tennis doctors.
They play golf.
They play golf.
Oh, another...
They make music.
Another AU from video games. XCOM.
Yeah, I was about to hit that one because that timeline divergence actually happens in 63.
Yeah, that's when the first ship hits, and the gets recovered. It's humanity's first encounter with alien life. And,
right. I didn't play the original games any, but I have played the Bureau Declassified, which isn't a great game, by the way. So don't. I mean, if you really want to get it, I don't want to trash talk something, but
to quote apparently internet lore at this point, because it's been a while, betrayal.
It's an entirely different game type.
Yeah.
It's a third-person shooter.
Yeah. And
XCOM has always been a
tactics-based
squad, along with real-time strategy.
And it's basically where humans, Earth's attacked by aliens, and humans start stealing them to learn their technology and hopefully push them back.
Interesting.
Which, funny enough, there was a XCOM stream today by Fire Axis. I don't know what they talked about because I didn't watch it, but apparently there's a new XCOM game on the way.
Is that how you pronounce it? I always pronounced it Firaxis.
Either way.
Whatever.
Can I circle back to movies for a
Yes.
minute?
Yeah.
We actually have a movie coming out where filmmakers have thrown out the word alternate universe in reference to
Really?
the story.
Okay.
And that's the new Halloween movie.
Huh.
It's coming out. Because
Is it another zombie?
No. It's
Who's making it?
Seth Gordon Green is directing it, and the screenplay was written by him and why am I blanking on names tonight?
Because I couldn't remember Rutger Hauer.
The Eastbound and Down.
Kenny Powers?
Danny McBride. Danny McBride wrote the script.
Oh, okay.
Him and Seth Gordon Green.
So it's not a reboot.
No, it takes place after the first movie, and it ignores all the sequels.
Right, because Jamie Lee Curtis is in it.
Yeah.
I'm starting to remember hearing about this.
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis is in it. Jamie Lee Curtis died in which one?
She died.
Which ones?
She died on screen in Resurrection, and her character was mentioned as dying, I think, in the fourth or fifth one.
Yeah, fourth or fifth one. Resurrection. And she also dies in H2O.
She doesn't die in H2O.
Yes, she does.
No, she doesn't.
Yes, she does.
No, she doesn't. She kills him. Or supposedly kills him. But they related.
I thought she...
It ends with him... It ends with Jamie Lee Curtis beheading Michael Myers, and then credits.
Okay,
Resurrection's the one where she gets stabbed.
Okay, yeah, because they try to merge those two movies together. Where you're like, okay,
because she ends up in a mental hospital because the guy she beheaded was not Michael Myers, but Michael Myers switched his mask with somebody, and he's like a genius, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, he's supposed to be just a force of evil. But,
yeah, but
unless you're Rob Zombie, then he's just a misunderstood mastermind of murdering people.
Yeah,
right.
But they pitched this idea to John Carpenter that it takes place in a world that the sequels didn't happen. That's sort of an alternate reality to those.
And John Carpenter looked up from his Casio keyboard and said, "Okay."
Yeah, probably.
And he is scoring the movie too. So.
And so
he probably was on his Casio.
And then talking about Halloween,
I talk shit about it, but I love it. I love how he scores all his movies with just like a fucking 20-key Casio keyboard.
And they're amazing.
They are amazing.
I don't even know that if that's what he uses, but that's what it sounds like. The sort of thing that has a Roomba button.
Yeah. So, circling back to Halloween again.
Yeah.
Because the original set of sequels actually has its own AU. Because Halloween 3...
Season of the Witch, yeah.
Because Halloween exists as a movie in that universe.
Yeah,
because there's an ad for the original Halloween in that movie.
Right.
It's on TV, right?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody considers Halloween 3 as part of the Halloween universe, though. As much as they either consider it, what the hell was this? Where's Michael Myers? Or, oh, John Carpenter really wanted to do other things.
Yeah. I don't know.
Which is what he did. He was like, I want to make a horror anthology. But I guess we'll make 2 Mike Myers movies, and then I'll make this other one that I think will go well. It didn't go well.
Which is actually, but it's sad because it's actually a pretty good flick. I liked it.
The third one? No, he didn't have anything to do with the third movie, did he?
No. Oh, I think he produced.
Maybe.
Or co-produced.
Or maybe he just gave him his name.
Probably.
Like, yeah.
I don't know. Carpenter was quoted as saying he wanted to do an anthology.
Yeah, I know that, yeah.
That's why 3 wasn't a Mike Myers movie.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, if he had nothing to do with it, that's kind of sad.
But that's another movie with a screwed up timeline. Because, you have, like, the 1 through, like...
Well, 1 and 2, and then you have the speed bump that's 3.
Yeah.
And then 4, 5, and 6 are like the Thorn trilogy or whatever.
Yes,
and all of those are horrible, and all of those are like examples of studios being in the editing booth.
Yeah.
Where like the director's cut actually makes less sense than the studio cut,
right?
But makes less sense than the editor's cut of the movie.
Yeah. And then there's H2O that sort of course corrects the
fourth or fifth one. Busta Rhymes?
Yeah.
That's Resurrection, my friend, and that's where not just Busta Rhymes. But Busta Rhymes goes kung fu
on Michael Myers.
What does he say? Trick or treat.
Trick or treat.
He says trick or treat. He does say trick or treat. We're gonna have to watch that movie.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that. I haven't done that.
I just love Busta Rhymes. I just haven't gotten around to seeing the movie.
Gotcha.
Because
so
I was a weird kid. Okay.
So yeah, I mean, at this point we're kind of like alternate universes kind of are one its own genre when it comes to speculative fiction, but also gives creators their own ability to explore things with their own characters without hopefully upsetting the fan base.
Yeah.
Right, and it's also a tool by the fan base to create their own stories.
Exactly, and create their own connection to it. Right. That can cause its own problems. We'll talk about that at a different time.
We're not talking about Slash here. We're just talking about, hey...
Well, no, I'm talking about the
Sonic OC characters.
Yes, I'm talking about the connection between like having that feeling that you own a property, and then when things change in it that you don't like, you get personally offended. We'll talk about that later, where toxic fandoms and
ownership and stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to get hit.
And
we're talking about AUs though, not let's smear women on the internet.
Right. We'll worry about that with a different show. But
that would be an interesting. Never mind. I was going into a Pap smear joke.
Don't do that.
Pat Smear is one of my favorite guitarists from the 90s.
Yeah, he's actually pretty good. He's still
my favorite germ.
Okay. And on that note, this has been the Geeks Respite with Hoyt, JP, and Ben. We will see you guys again soon. And good night, everybody.
I didn't even get to talk about sliders, but that's okay.
We'll do
sliders next time.
We'll do it. We'll have sliders. We'll give sliders its own show.
I'll talk all about the time Jerry O'Connell liked 2 of my tweets.
Oh yeah. All right. And you didn't even tag him, so he was Googling himself.
Exactly. Jerry O'Connell name searches himself. Try it. It's fun.
Awesome. And on that note, this has been the Geeks Respite. Everyone have a good week.